everyone, this is Peak Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and this will be another discussion on the upcoming The Marvels. And we'll ask the question as to whether it will be an overall success or another big flop within the superhero genre. Now there may be spoilers throughout for all movies and television shows within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so just beware when going into this overall video, and you can catch up my reviews of all content within Phase 4 and Phase 5 so far within the channel, and I'll leave some links within the description. So then, we'll talk about The Marvels, which is of course a sequel to the original Captain Marvel film from 2019, which grossed over $1 billion worldwide at the box office. Brie Larson will once again be reprising her role as Carol Danvers, starring alongside Iman Vellani, who will also reprise her role as Kamala Khan from the Miss Marvel series. Tania Paris will also return in her role as Monica Rambeau, that we saw her from the WandaVision series. And of course, we will also see Samuel L. Jackson return once more as Nick Fury. The film itself is set for release on November the 10th, 2023. Now, I already commented on the first trailer of this film that was released a couple of months ago, and I stated that there wasn't really anything standout or special, nothing really pointing towards the overall story or plot, nothing here that would really convince any detractors of Brie Larson or Carol Danvers or the previous movie. And having watched the second trailer, I probably still have the same sentiment. In this trailer, they've certainly tried to pack more visuals, more action and more energy, but it really didn't garner any more interest in terms of my own perspective regarding this overall film. And once more, it's very light on the story. For the most part, it seems that the three main lead characters will be going up against a warrior named as Darbain, I believe, from the Kree, who's trying to restore her homeland after a civil war. We did have that one line where she's seemingly blaming Captain Marvel for taking everything away from her, so there'll be some sort of element of revenge, I guess, throughout this storyline. And we also have to assume that she has to be pretty powerful to require all three Marvel characters to team up against her. But what we've seen so far from both trailers, she really just comes across once more as a generic one-note villain, as what we've so often seen within these Marvel movies, without any real compelling aspects to the overall character. And as I mentioned within the first trailer, this film is really going to rely on the dynamic and the chemistry between all of the three lead roles. Now, I've always said that I've never had much issue with any of the three actresses playing their roles or their portrayals of the characters. It's always been the movies or the shows that they've been involved in that was really more uninspired. From the little glimpses that we see where the characters are together, it certainly seems that they will have some likability and be able to bounce off each other in a natural fashion. Without question, Miss Marvel is going to be, if you like, the younger sister of the group, the one who's making the most mistakes, the much more naive and innocent personality, and will have far more of the grown-up sisters, if you like, of Carol Danvers and Monica Rambeau, who it seems will be constantly arguing as to what direction the team should be going in. And the movie, of course, will have to explain how exactly or what has caused the link between all three characters, where we see them exhibiting each other's abilities. As I mentioned before, we see the return of Nick Fury, and in the clips here we see him working in outer space with the Saber program. This is of course when he was working with the Skrulls in order to find them a new home. This was a narrative that was continued on from the Captain Marvel movie. So obviously this story will take place before the events in Secret Invasion. I very much doubt that there'll be much connection at whatever end credits scene that we see that will be tying into the overall series. Unless there'll be some sort of jump forward in time and perhaps we find out that certain characters are indeed Skrulls or whatever duplicitous identity that they have throughout the story. Now, in terms of any difference or additional elements to this second trailer, I think the main one was the first real look at the redesign of Captain Marvel's costume. This time we have a much more larger star emblem on her chest, and the colours seem to be less segmented and far more darker overall. I'm still not sure on it, to be honest. It still has that muted, bland colour aesthetic that I think not only that we saw within this trailer, but also what we saw within the first film. And I remember when watching it, I really couldn't see where exactly the $150 million budget was really visualised. It just didn't have that feel of an epic superhero movie. And I have to say, I think the same with this trailer here. There are certain shots that still look unfinished. Many people I've seen online have reacted to the sequence where we see Carol Danvers out of an explosion. It doesn't look very convincing, and that's very true. We have some shots here where we see the three characters fighting against the Kree warrior, and it very much looks like it's more on a soundstage. And this is the problem that we've seen really with the majority of summer blockbusters already this year. And once more, there's nothing really eye-catching about the characters' abilities. They just seem for the most part all to just transmit some sort of light in varying colour schemes, and there's nothing real more apart from that. So once more, if they want to make this film interesting, they're going to have to really try and diversify in terms of the power set between the characters. Make it so each individual has a certain skill set that's crucial to them teaming up together and going up against the villain. So if I'm being honest in terms of this project, after watching both trailers, I really don't think this is going to convince anyone who already has a hard dislike for the first film, Brie Larson, or indeed the character of Carol Danvers. The fact that Marvel released this second trailer really out of the blue, early hours of the morning on Friday, with very little fanfare or discussion. Now, of course, we do understand that they aren't able to promote this movie like all other projects because of the ongoing actors and writers strike. If events were playing out as normal, then we would have had a far more bigger showing at the Comic-Con event. But it is somewhat suspicious that they would seemingly just drop this trailer out of nowhere without any lead-in or any promotion there. Does Marvel already realise that this film is not going to be a massive success and they're just trying to play out the overall promotion of it very quietly? Now, originally it was going to be released in the summer of this year before moving to November the 10th, where the main competition will be from both Hunger Games and Dune 2, I believe. Now, will this increase its chances of success? I'm not sure. It may give it a bigger opportunity. I think if it was indeed coming out this summer, then I think it would have been performed really bad. Considering that most of the films already that have come out have performed really bad, I think those chances of the Marvels garnering any success during the summer season would have been very little. So in hindsight at the moment, it's probably looking a safer move that they moved it to November. But I still suspect that this could legitimately be the second big flop within the MCU after Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. People will talk about the likes of Black Widow and the Eternals, but those were in, of course, the pandemic era. So that excuse is long gone now, going into 2023. That's why we ultimately deemed Quantumania a big flop. And unfortunately, I do feel that we'll be looking at the same scenario for the Marvels. I just don't see anything here to really get even the most ardent of MCU supporter really excited in terms of the individual story or where we could go forward in terms of the overall multiverse and the Kang Dynasty. Now, I think we can all safely say that this film has very little, if not no chance of grossing close to $1 billion as what we saw with the first film. But who knows, maybe the lowered amount of expectation and hype and discussion and perhaps controversy this time around may actually help the movie because there'll be less of a negative backlash towards it. And if you go into a film with lower expectations and it turns out not to be as bad as what you thought, then that can somehow elevate the status of the film. And if any decent word of mouth gets across, then maybe that could draw more people to the movie overall. So I think Marvel would be best not to get involved in any interaction with the haters or the trolls or the critics. Just quietly go about the business of promoting the film. And if the film is good, let the film speak for itself, and hopefully that could garner enough to have it overall perform decently at the box office. If I were to guess right now, I would say it will probably end up with anything of around, I would say 300 to 450 million worldwide. Now that may be not what Marvel wants, but I really can't see it anywhere being one of the biggest hits of this year without any doubt. So there's my overall thoughts and feelings on the recent second trailer of the Marvels and the discussion as to whether it will overall be another success or a flop within the Marvel Cinematic Universe and also the superhero genre. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any further discussions or topics or movies that you'd like to see me talk about within this channel, then also let me know within the comments and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that topic within the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.